Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. I hope you're fired up and ready to go. We got another week going for you. It is a 9/19/2022 episode 4728, and we are excited. I mean, it is going to be a great week this week. We're stepping into this health idea, continually going down this path, but we're going to get a little bit into mindfulness. So part of having really great health is being able to be mindful, not only about your health, but things that are going on with you, right? And so mindfulness is so important. And I want to go through today what that's going to do to help you. Tomorrow, again, we're going through Competing Against Luck, chapter 5 and 6 and 7. We're going to get through some chapters. I hope you're enjoying that book. If you haven't picked it up, that's fine. But it does give you the ability to, when you come here, at least you're getting a book a month. So we're trying to get through about, well, not every month, because sometimes we take a couple months on a book if it's really good. But typically we're getting between 10 to 12 books as part of being a part of Morning Coach. So at least you're getting some reading in. And if you're not even reading, at least you're getting the highlights on Tuesdays, right? So that's the benefit of that. And I'm liking this book, really understanding some things, working with my coach, and hopefully you're taking some business lessons away from that. And if you're not thinking business lessons, just some ideas about how to think about things differently. That's what books do for us. Wednesday, we've got being more self-aware, why it is important. Been talking a lot about self-awareness a little bit more lately, just because it's one of those important topics, mindfulness, self-awareness, that we all need to continue to work on. We could talk about this every day. I mean, literally, this Coach Cast could be about mindfulness and awareness every day, 365 days of the year, and it would be relevant. It's a really important topic, and it's something that we need to continue to go over. So this week, we're going to really spend some time on it. Thursday, of course, is Ask JB. That's the 22nd. It's going to be a great day. Number 22, it's going to be a good one. Friday, we've got mindfulness ideas and tips. Again, staying with this mindfulness idea. Saturday, mindfulness systems. And then Sunday, getting back to faith after a backslide, becoming more mindful of that. So we'll get into that Sunday, and that's more of a spiritual day where we'll be rocking and rolling, talking about that idea or concept. But today I want to get into mindfulness and what is it? And being mindful is, again, that self-awareness, that mindfulness is such a critical component. We hear a lot about it, but what really is it? What it is you understanding yourself. And that's really the bottom line. You understand yourself better than anybody else. And it's that introspection to understand why you're doing what you're doing and what is happening, those patterns that are occurring in life. So, for example, I'll give you a negative one for me, okay? And I don't mind. I like sharing the negative and the positives, but this is a habit that I've been working to break. And it's a tough one because drinking is something that I talk about once in a while, and alcohol. So for me, it's hard to stop drinking right when I start. It's just something that I have in my DNA. In this area that you grew up in, and now that I'm back here and I'm doing, building the studio and getting the gym done, everybody drinks here. I mean, it's like almost every single person. That's a part of the lifestyle and culture of what I was growing up in, kind of a farmer community, and that's just what the culture is about. I mean, every Friday and Saturday, people go out. After work, people go out. And so it's a culture of alcohol, right? And again, not going to judge it. One of the things we're going to talk about today is non-judgment. But for me, it doesn't do me any good. Like, it wipes me out. My body doesn't handle it well. And the pattern that happens with me is I'll stop drinking for 30, 40 days, okay? And so this is being mindful. So I'm doing good. And then I'll go out and have a drink. And I'll be like, okay, I'll have one. I'll have one Jack and Coke or one Jack and Ginger. I'll just have one. And I do so good. It's like, wow, I did so good. I only had one drink. It was fun. It was a good time. And then I feel like, okay, a couple days later, the weekend, I'll go, I'll go out and have just one. And I go out and I just have one. And I do it again. It's like, wow, I did it again. That was great. Wow, I could handle this. This demon is under control. I don't need to get crazy. And then what happens is, because I'm feeling like I'm in total control, I'll be like, I'll have two, I'll have three. And then I just have that, hey, let's do some shots and let's get crazy and let's have some fun. And it just gets out of control. Right? And that's being mindful. I know that is a pattern that is in my brain, and I have to disrupt that pattern. And the only way you can disrupt that is being mindful, understanding that that is a pattern that you have. And that's a negative pattern. Maybe it's something with work or some habits you want to do or some things you want to change within your business. Being mindful of these patterns and things that are happening can help you. Maybe even on a golf course. I know we have a lot of golfers here. Maybe there's something that comes up that is a pattern that continually happens to you on the golf course. So understanding that is what we're looking at, and that is what mindfulness is about, building it into our daily life. Because what happens is as we get moving, and if you journal, you'll really feel this, right? You start, and all of a sudden Monday becomes Friday, and you don't even remember Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because you're moving so fast. And then the weekend comes, and then you're back doing it all over again. And we get into these just kind of grinds, right? Or let's say a rut. We'll call it a rut, right? We've heard stuck in a rut so much. And basically what's going on is we're constantly going through these ruts, and we're just kind of grinding through life, and we're not really mindful. We're not aware of what is happening. And as we do this, we're just kind of going and flowing, until something happens that wakes us up from that. And again, for me, sometimes it's an alcohol thing where I drink too much. It's, what am I doing here? Why am I, what pattern have I fallen into? Can be a work pattern where work. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing 3 masterminds and 2 vacations, getting out and going. That's why I'm building the retreat center, so people have a place to come to break that pattern, invest in yourself and come to a place where you can break the patterns and you can start to have some mindfulness, and then bring in the things that you want to using mindfulness. Okay. So the idea then is you start practicing non-judgment and observation. And this is kind of singer's work, but it's the reality of what's out there. We start to have the wonder of life. We start to realize, wow, life is just amazing. I'm going to enjoy this. And we start to become more mindful of the activities and the things we're doing. We start to practice non-judgment. We observe the things around us. We see the behaviors and the patterns of things that are going on. Again, another pattern for me is, I want the best of everything. So I have a problem sometimes when I get into something, I'll just start buying, because I get in this pattern, right? It's like, I want this, I want that, I want to do that. Like the house, and the studio and everything I'm building, the retreat center. I want to make sure the wood's perfect. And I got to slow down because a lot of things aren't dependent on me. And so it's hard with my personality. But again, that's a mindful personality where somebody else may not care at all. And it's just you. And getting to know you is what we're talking about from a mindfulness perspective. And this is very healthy. This is something that we all need to dig into. There are going to be things that you don't like about yourself. There's going to be demons that you're fighting. There's going to be things you love about yourself. And we've got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. And that's what we're looking to do. And that's what mindfulness does. So we practice non-judgment. We observe things that are going on. And we look for those patterns. And we learn to have patience with ourselves. And this is a big one. When I work with younger people, especially in the 20s and 30s, a lot of them don't have patience. They don't realize what is ahead of them. And so they're moving so fast that they don't slow down, and they don't realize they've got their whole life ahead of them. Gary Vaynerchuk's a friend of mine from years ago. Okay. Many of he drops a lot of F-bombs or whatever, but his message has really changed recently in the last year. I think it's been really good. And Gary, he talks to these 20-year-olds, and these 20-year-olds are like, man, I want the cars, I want the house, I want that. And he's like, look, you are just getting started. Have patience. Allow things to work. Go out there and take some risks. This is the best time to take risks, when you're in your 20s. So he brings a lot of great wisdom and judgment ideas, or wisdom and philosophy, I should say, to the ideas of what we're talking about. Again, it's really mindfulness without being mindful. It's the idea of being able to be patient and observe and see what is happening. Why are you in this position? And again, going back to the wonder idea of how amazing life truly is. When you realize that, whether it's mistakes you've made or whether it's great things that have happened, the moment in time is now. And this is when it can all shift and change. And you can only start from here, right? You can only start from this moment. That's why when we work with addicts, especially like drugs, for example, it's like you got to take it moment by moment. Day by day. That's everything in life. You got to take it day by day and just make the most out of the day that you have in front of you. And that's such a mindful kind of idea or philosophy to live that way. And then start with kind of Zen mind, beginner mind. And you just take the day off. It's like, wow, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to be a beginner at things. I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm going to be aware of it and allow things to come. I'm not going to be too riled up when something negative happens or something positive. I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to allow it to be, and I'm going to continue to move forward. And I'm going to choose peace. That's a Course in Miracles statement that I absolutely love. I can choose peace instead of this. And these are mindfulness principles that you slow down, you organize, and then you just you don't judge and you observe things that are going on. You come from a state of peace and things just work out better. Then you trust things. You trust things will work out. I think you've heard me say this for years, that one of my best beliefs is that the greater good is conspiring to help me. It's my best belief. So when I'm in my negative mood, maybe I went out and drank too much, maybe I didn't do the things I was supposed to do, maybe I didn't hit my goals, and I'm sitting there in self-pity and wallow, and I'm just kind of the gnashing of the teeth. That's what they always said in the Bible, right? And I'm just in that negative area. It's like, wow, you know what? The greater good is conspiring for me. Maybe this was a wake-up call. Maybe I needed this in my life. Now I need to get my stuff together, get back to being mindful, start to observe the patterns, see what's happening out there, and get myself where I need to be. That's really what it's about. And when you start to find self, you can love self. Remember, self-love is the first love. And when you start to love yourself, you start to understand yourself, and you forgive yourself for the things that you've done. Forgive yourself for the things that you haven't done, and start all over again. And that's why I love Mondays. You know, it's weird because I love like ritualistic things, the end of the month, the start of a month, the start of a new year. You know, our patterns are really here built around a year pattern, a year structure. We're going to be making some subtle changes with some of the programs I'm building into 90-day structures. So we really get things done, 90 days rest, 90 days rest. We're still structured that way, but really it's really built around this ability to say, let's make it a great year. And living my life, for example, I mean, I cannot believe the curveballs that were thrown to me this year outside of my plan. Most of the things that are happening right now were not part of my plan, but I'm able to integrate them in, and that's been a beautiful thing, right? I've just had to make some adjustments. But we've got to learn to be more mindful. I mean, it's something that I'm serious. We could talk about it every day here on the show. We could get together every morning. And it's something that I could do every morning. We could spend all 365 days on it, and it would probably be one of the most blessed things we could do, right? Because it is such an important thing in life that we learn to be more mindful. A couple other tips, and we're going to be talking about it all week, but another tip is learn to listen. You know, I've spoken so much about listening, and listening not only to other people, which is critical, but listening to nature, listening to you, listening to your heart. Listen to your own self-talk, right? Have you ever just sat and just listened? And that's the depth of really knowing who you are and getting so much deeper. Again, stepping back to Singer's work we did a couple months ago. You know, that's you in there. That's you that's listening. That's pretty intense, right? Have you ever just listened? And really, that's the foundation of meditation. It's just quieting things down. And why meditation is so important, why a lot of times it goes hand in hand with mindfulness, because meditation allows you to slow your mind down. It allows you to slow down enough to really become mindful and cut off those negative patterns that you're doing. Cut off those things that aren't being helping you get to where you want to go, right? And really focusing on the importance of self-awareness. So we want to get that working for you. And another thing that you can do, we're going to be doing mindfulness tips this week, but exercise is so critical. You know, I'm getting my gym set up. Things are moving great here. I'm getting more into my temple, which is your body. You know, when you get the good energy going, good chemistry going, that dopamine and understanding that, you know, we've talked about cold dipping, cold showers, studying that, understanding your mental health. Being aware of your mental health and your physical health all go together, and it allows you to be more mindful to really manifest that life that you're looking to manifest. It's amazing how when you put the energy out there and you just keep progressing and you just keep moving forward, how things do work out for the best. But you got to slow down and just allow them to happen and just take it day by day. And if you fall off, it's okay if you backslide. We're going to talk about that Sunday. From a spiritual perspective, let's say you've backslid and you just are doing things that just aren't progressive, are doing things that aren't helping you, doing things that aren't mindful. Well, then we slow down, we step back, and we start all over. And that's the one beautiful thing I can tell you about life, is that no matter what yesterday was, we can wake up and we can start today anew, okay? So let's go out there and have a great day. Let's be a little more mindful. Let's be a little more self-aware and enjoy the day. All right. I love you, and I will be back tomorrow. We're going to get back into competing against luck, and then we're back into self-awareness and mindfulness for this week. It's going to be a great one. All right. So go do it to it. I'll see you tomorrow right here on morningcoach.com.